at present value annuities, which really gives away this question, but that's fine. This is the formula you guys are going to use, right? So the large R, I should have wrote this down, is your regular payments. Okay, and that's going to disappear, but those are our regular payments. The I is an interest rate that is calculated by taking whatever the interest rate is and dividing by the compound period. So that's for both of the I's. And the N value is calculated by number of periods. So you usually use that by going, assuming interest rate is yearly, number of years times compound period. So we have Suki would like to withdraw $800 per month for the next 20 years. The interest rate is 6.25. That's a really high interest rate, so this might come out to be less than it would normally be in a bank because I don't know many accounts that give that. But compound it monthly, which works out good, and it needs to be, in order to use this formula, the withdrawal period. If it's my per month, then the compound period has to be per month. Otherwise, we have to do a whole bunch of changing of the information. How much must Suki deposit today to finance this pipe dream? Okay, so they're going to need a significant amount of money. And they want to know how much they need right now, and that's what the PV stands for. They have to calculate what the present value of all of this is going to be. So let's figure out present value. In order to do that, we have to calculate our I and our N first. So I, we already said, was equal to the interest rate. And what's the interest rate in this one?
0.0625.
Yeah, 0.0625. And the compound period is
12.
12. Perfect. So that's going to be a pretty small decimal. And then the N is number of years, which was 20. And the compound period was 12 again. So we're looking at 240 periods and an interest rate. I had that nice other calculator confused. 0.0625 divided by 12. Okay, I'm going to leave this as a fraction because we're just going to kind of work with it the way it is. Because if I write it this way, there's going to be a bit of a rounding error. It's not going to be much if we write to like 4 or 5 decimal places, but we'll leave it in fractional form. So it says that the present value is equal to regular payments. Regular payments are the $800 that this person would like to take out every single month. We take 1, subtract 1 plus this fraction, which is 0.0625 divided by 12. All of that is to the power of negative 240. And then all of that, so the entire thing, is divided by that same fraction again, 0.0625 divided by 12. So if you don't like using fractions, just convert both of these that we've just highlighted to decimals, and you can work with the decimal form. But I'm going to try to put most of this into a calculator in order to see if we can get it to work. That's why I like to use that one. So let's see what we can do. We know that we're going to start here. We'll kind of go through the process. We're going to start here, then we're going to add 1, and whatever number we get, we're going to put to the power of negative 240. Whatever that is, we're going to take 1 and subtract it. Then whatever that is, we can multiply by 800, and then whatever that is, we can divide by this. So we're going to do this in many, many steps. It's good to have a calculator that memorizes old answers, okay? So we've already done this part, 0.0625 divided by 12. That equals this number here, okay? So we're going to take this number, and we're going to add it to 1. So that's the inside of the brackets here, okay? So that's equal to 1 plus that. Then we're going to take this number here, and put it to the power of negative 240. Okay, so we've got a new value. So that would be like all of this part here. We've finished. We're then going to take 1 and subtract it from the answer we had above. Where did my calculator go? Here we go. So just take 1, subtract that answer from before. So it's really nice to have a calculator that memorizes old answers. Once we take that value, and again, we can be writing these all out in steps, but if we have a calculator that does that, we'll do it. So that's all of this bracket on top. We're going to multiply this value by 800, because that would be the next step in BEDMAS. And then finally, we're going to take this value, and we're going to divide it by, and we can divide it by, what's really good about this is I can sneak up and take the old one. Boom. We're going to divide it by that value, and that's what this was as a fraction. So this is what this person needs. $109,449.87. Hopefully I can write that all down. The present value is 109. There's no way I memorize that. 44987. 4987. Now, are you guys allowed to use calculators, or do you guys have to show every single step as you go through?
I hope we can just show every, I hope we can use calculators.
I think
That's what I did, so I hope
I
so.
think it'd be like equation, then plugged in, and then finalized.
Yeah, so
That's
kind
what
of
I
like
did.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is an acceptable way, essentially, to go. Financed our pipe dream. Let's figure out how much interest we actually earned throughout all of this. So this was the amount of money that I originally had to put in, or Suki had to originally put in. Almost, $109,500. That's not bad. How much do they get paid overall? Well, they get $800 every month, and we figured out how many months this occurs for us for 20 years. 20 years every month, is that right? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. So there are 240 months occurring here. So they get paid 800 times the 240. Figure out how much you get paid over the course of all this. So that's 800 by, oops. It might be faster if I do this by hand. Let's go 1, 2, 3 zeros. 8 times 4. That's a 2, 3, 16. 192,000. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, $192,000. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So they, over the course of how many? 20 years, $192,000. But they also had to pay in a certain amount. They had to put in 109. Let's say 450 to round it out nicely. So the amount of interest earned, that's going to be 0, 9, 1. And that's going to be 5, 5, 2, 8, 82,000. Is that what you guys got as an amount?
Oh,
You found out one note.
I did it for a different homework question.
Okay. But the amount earned, assuming I've done this correctly, and maybe we should check with the calculator. Assuming I've done this correctly, they had $192,000 to start, and they put in $109,450 roughly. They get $82,550. Yeah. So that's how much interest was earned by putting money into this account.